Okay, so this is day 3 of going through my A Journey Within introspective journal. And so here's the quote for the day. We cannot become what we want by remaining who we are. And the questions are, what kind of person are you hoping to become? How do you want to grow? And how will you have to change to achieve this? So again, just take like 10 or 15 minutes if you want to. If you're following along, go ahead and pause the video and take about 10 to 15 minutes and just start writing about whatever comes up for you whenever you read that quote and the questions. And I'll be back here in a second to tell you what came up for me. Okay, so again, I filled out this journal several months ago, and I just finished going through all the pages. And so what I noticed when I was reading through my response to this is I think some of my responses are some of them are just general responses, and then I think some of them, where they came from, were based on where I was in that current moment. And so that's what I feel like this one is, because I don't feel like I have necessarily the same views now as I did whenever I wrote this. So let me just read to you what I wrote. So for the question of what kind of person are you hoping to become and how do you want to grow and how will you change to achieve this, I wrote, I want to become someone who is seen as knowledgeable and respected about something. And so I'm not sure if I should go ahead and read through the whole thing. Actually, I think I'm going to talk about what thoughts I'm having as I'm reading this stuff. So when I wrote this, I wish I would have dated the pages, because this was actually, I'm pretty sure it was like maybe January, maybe the beginning of January 2022. And at that time, I was really heavy into work. Like I was trying to finish up a class from the fall semester that I'd gotten an extension on, and then I was also ramping up for conferences, because spring is kind of when several academic conferences are held. And so I know in like January, February, I was putting together a lot of presentations. And so I think maybe then I was feeling more focused on my career and how I was going to be perceived, like going to these conferences, you know, these academic conferences around like my peers. And so I think that's where I want to be seen as knowledgeable and respected for something. But then I follow that up with saying, I'm not sure exactly what thing that will be. So, you know, you would think that it would be like the field that I'm currently in, but at this point I'm like, well, I don't know. You know, I want to feel knowledgeable and respected, but not necessarily sure that it's like my current field that I want to feel that way in. And I said, today I've been thinking about becoming a doctor again. And I kind of mentioned that yesterday, that I was on the path to become a doctor, getting a, you know, biology and chemistry degree, and then decided I didn't want to go, and this is, I'm meaning a medical doctor, decided against that. But more recently, over the past few years, I've kind of become interested in it again. So what I said, but if I do, I want to do it holistically. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Holistically, I don't know. But I don't know. The thing that stops me from really thinking that I could be a doctor or teacher is the fact that I don't feel like I'm very good with people. Okay, so I must have been feeling like very introverted, because I go through like times where I'm feeling a little bit more social and extroverted, but not like a lot, not compared to like people who are social and extroverted. And then there's other times that I just really feel like I don't understand people. I don't know how to interact with people. Like I'm just really awkward is how I feel about myself. But people have told me like they don't understand me saying that I feel that way, because they tell me that I don't seem that awkward. So I don't know. But I must have been really feeling that this day. I don't feel like I'm very good with people, especially not face to face. In that case, maybe a blog or some other distanced platform would be better than actually like working face to face with people. Maybe I think I was thinking maybe I could do something online with medical or health information, or teaching people about stuff. I don't know. And then I follow up. But everyone, it seems, is wanting to be an online influencer or coach these days, and many of them don't seem qualified. And if you're one of those, like, don't take that personally. I think that's like talking about my insecurities. Like, I see some people that really, I mean, you gotta be honest, there's people on here that are trying to coach people that aren't qualified, that you can tell that they don't have their lives together, and they're wanting for people to pay them to coach them how to get their lives together. And I don't want to be like getting on there and like trying to provide people information when I don't know the information, you know. So I guess I'm like kind of insecure about that. And then I go on to say, and I question whether I'd ever get to a point where I'd ever feel qualified enough to teach, influence, coach, or care for people, students, or patients, you know, depending on what path I decide to take, because I don't know. I feel like one of my biggest problems is not knowing who I want to be, because this question starts out like, what kind of person are you hoping to become? And I think, kind of like I said on the, you know, what road are you on type of thing, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't have like the end goal. And kind of similar to that, I don't know what kind of person I'm hoping to become. But looking at this again, like, I don't think it's asking like, what's your goal? What's your end goal? Like, if it's asking what kind of person, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a doctor. It just could be like in general. And so I think that's where I got the knowledgeable and respected, but I don't know. And so I said, if I don't know who I want to be, how will I ever get there? Since I'm sort of stuck in my current role as a researcher and student, maybe for the time being, I should work to become the best researcher and PhD student I can be. So again, I said I was in this place where I was trying to finish up classes and get ready for conferences, and so I think that's where my head was. So I'm like, you know, since I'm not very good at thinking about long-term what my goals are gonna be, maybe just keep it on the short term and just be like, the person I want to become is this, you know, within the next few years. I want to be a good student, not be stressed about school, be a good researcher, not be stressed about work. So I think that's the place where I was at right there. But since this time, there was, where is it? I actually had like this goal sheet. I hope it's in here. I had like, so every month I kind of try to put together my goals or review my previous goals, and in one of them I actually wrote, who do I want to be, up at the top. And I put, I want to be an ag econ expert, because that's what my field is. But I don't think, like, I go back and forth with that. Like, sometimes I'm like, well, I already know all this stuff. I probably could become an expert in the field if I really wanted to, because I know enough of like the background stuff to, like, if I put my focus on it, I can do that. And then I was also taking a sustainability and business course, and I got really into that. Like, I really enjoyed that class, and I went beyond like what the class was actually asking for. Like, every week, whatever the topic was, at the gym in the morning, I would go in and find videos about all the stuff. And at that time, for like a couple of months, I was like, okay, I want to have like a business. I want to own a business and have it be a sustainable business, and try to make sure all my inputs are sustainable and all this stuff. And then I was also thinking like, well, maybe I could also be a consultant to businesses, maybe just start out to help other businesses find ways to be more sustainable. And there was an opportunity for me to actually do something similar to that, to the sustainability consulting. But because I know that I tend to get like certain times where I'm really energized and I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And then when I commit to things and then like a week or 2 weeks or a month later, I'm overwhelmed at all of the things that I've committed to. And I get really stressed because I've tended to do that in the past. I decided not to join that project. I mean, it was something through school. It wouldn't have been a lot of hours, but I was just like, you know what? I don't want to overburden myself this summer. So maybe if there's an opportunity to do it again next year, I would do that. So that's where I was then. And I put like supply chain creator, you know, with all the stuff that's been going on with everything in the world, and especially supply chain issues, I've been thinking more and more about, you know, building local supply chains and finding ways to get local inputs and, you know, help the local economy and things like that. And so that's one thing that I was thinking about. And then I put bodybuilder, personal trainer, community leader, and then I just have some like words to describe the type of person I want to be. So I put like confident, competent, wise, respected, and then I have like another section. I have these because those are kind of like, you know, I'm confident, competent, you know, whatever. And then I have this other one and I put energy shifting, inspirational, inspiring, and bright. And I think that's because whenever I think about like the type of people that inspire me, the type of people that make me feel good to be around, to feel comfortable, like that's kind of how I feel. Like I just picture someone who, when they walk in the room, people just feel drawn to them and people feel comfortable around them and just calm, you know? But I don't know how to do that, and I don't know if that's like in me, but I was just trying to think of the type of people that I like to be around and how I would like to be that type of person. And so yeah, that's what I wrote. This was way after this. So this would have been like late April that I wrote these goals right here because it's on my May goal sheet. But yeah, but I go back and forth because I have my more extroverted and more introverted times that like when I say like, oh, I want to be a business owner and I want to be a consultant and community leader and things like that. By community leader, I don't mean like mayor or city council or anything like that, but maybe just someone who helps put together things to build the community. I don't know exactly what I even mean by that, to be honest. And I don't consider myself a leader, so it's kind of like the teaching thing. Like I can envision myself doing these things, but in reality, with how like introverted I am and how I don't feel like I'm good at talking to people, I don't know how this would actually be achieved. So it's weird. It's kind of like when I see like, I kind of think of myself because I'm studying public policy and I follow politics, and again, I go in and out of like being super interested in politics, like what's going on in the news and stuff. But I feel like there's certain people that want to be the politician. They want to be the person that everybody looks at, that has the power and the control. I would not want that. Like, I would not want to be the politician, but I would like to be maybe the person that advises a politician, maybe someone that the politician trusts to give them information and to research, you know, the different stuff that's going on. But I'm not someone who wants the spotlight. So like when I put things like community leader and even like being a business owner kind of scares me, because I'm like, you know, you're gonna have people coming in and you're the one that's responsible for the whole business. And I don't think the business itself, if I was a business owner, I would want it to be so small that I'm scared. I would be scared to manage employees. Like, I wouldn't want to be like a bad boss. But at the same time, I would be afraid that I wouldn't be, not mean, but like, what's the word? Assertive enough to not have employees walk all over me. So that's one thing that kind of scares me about like being a business owner, is I feel like I could do a lot of the background things, you know, like the inventory and, you know, keeping up with the accounting and all that stuff. And I think I could have I've got several business ideas, but I just don't know how good I would be at managing other people. And I think that's going to be a theme throughout this book. I feel like a lot of stuff that I wrote about was like, well, I want to do this, but in order to do this, you kind of have to be social and have connections with other people. And so I don't know how to do that. And I struggle to do that. So yeah, but anyway, that's what came up for me and what I'm thinking with this now. And I guess another thing too, beyond just like professional or career, more recently I've been the things that I've been doing lately to kind of like build good habits and stuff have helped me to reduce my stress and anxiety. And, you know, more and more I feel myself less like wanting to do something great and leave an impression on the world. You know, because I don't know, I don't know if other people have had that thought since like a kid. I don't know if it's just ingrained in us that like we're special and, you know, you can make a difference and all this stuff. And I guess I always thought like maybe I would do something that would have a positive impact on the world. But more and more I'm just like, I just want to live my life as best I can with not very much stress and just be happy. I know that's vague, and I know a lot of people say that, like, oh, I want to be a happy person, I want to be happy, but I'm getting to where I am feeling pretty good about life without, you know, having these major accomplishments and, you know, making some big thing happen that, you know, affects, you know, my community or the world. Like, I'm getting to where I'm just content with just living and trying to live in a way that doesn't hurt the other people or the environment, or, you know, just try to find a way to live that's good. But I don't know. I guess that's what I have. So, you know, I guess if you're following along and you want to share, if you had something different come up, maybe you're not as indecisive as me and you do know, you know, what kind of person you want to become, or maybe you've become the person that you were hoping to become. And, you know, how did you know this? How did you figure it out? And if you haven't figured it out, you know, what are you willing to change to achieve it? So I guess with mine, it was like a part of me wants to change, you know, how I relate with other people, and a part of me, I'm torn between wanting to change and like just settling in to be like, this is who I am. But anyway, I will be back tomorrow for day 4.